Alright guys, today I'll be reviewing Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure, or just Hagrid's at Islands of Adventure. This is widely considered to be the best family coaster of all time, and I could certainly see why, but I definitely wouldn't agree at all, and I'll explain why in this review. So to start off, you're gonna more than likely face over an hour wait. I waited about an hour, and I sort of used the Candemonium dead time trick on this, where basically you wait till around dinner when everyone's eating to get a shorter wait, and yeah, an hour was about the lowest this thing was, and yeah, it was February break, so that was partially on me, but at the same time, it was a Wednesday, and this was still at like a 2-hour wait on average, and it was a Wednesday, so yeah, it's rough. If you can't get here like an hour before early entry or something like that to just camp at this thing, then I would definitely recommend using Candemonium dead time method for this, where again, just go at around 4 o'clock or something when everyone's eating. That's what I did, and yeah, I wasn't happy about waiting an hour for this, but it's better than what it could have been. So yeah, get here like midday during dinner. The theming itself, like in the queue line and everything, is really good. So yeah, you're gonna walk through this arch to actually get here. I do wish it was still dueling dragons, because that would have been sick to see those two dragons kind of like interacting with each other at the front gate. But you know, it's whatever. We have this now. Dueling Dragons is dead. Honestly, I still wish Dueling Dragons was here instead of this, but yeah, anyways, you're gonna keep walking through the queue. The first part of it is actually pretty dead. You get some good shots of the ride, but other than that, there's not a whole lot to see at the start of this. The ground's actually sort of different than like the normal pavement or whatever they have in the pathways. I don't know, it's really hard to explain. It's just kind of dirt-like in some places, which I actually like, gives it a bit more character. You get into the actual indoor part of the queue, and you have all these Harry Potter references and decor, and like you've got the broomsticks and everything above your head in one of the rooms, and I imagine it would be amazing if you were a huge Harry Potter fan, but unfortunately, or fortunately for me, depending on how you look at it, I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan. So I definitely didn't understand everything that was going on in there. I definitely understood the premise that, like, you're going with Hagrid's to see some magical creatures. That's not too hard to wrap your head around, but yeah, like all the little references and everything, I probably missed some stuff because, again, I'm not that huge into the franchise, which kind of hurts the ride that it's themed to a franchise and an IP as opposed to its own original story, which is definitely a big plus for Big Bear Mountain, which I'm going to compare the two a lot in this review, because that's the other like top tier family coaster in my eyes. So yeah, once you actually get into the station, it's a moving station. You're not going to stop. You're just going to get in whichever row you're assigned to. I fortunately got the back row, but unfortunately got sidecar. So I sort of have a good experience. I imagine it would be a bit better on motorbike, but I don't imagine it being anything too much better. So yeah, you pull out of your station and you take a little right-hand turn, and then yeah, you take off. And this first launch really doesn't do a whole lot. Really shockingly, none of the launches had much power to them. I was kind of surprised with this and Velocicoaster how all the launches on them, like none of them were even close to Hulk's launch. Like that's by far the best launch in the park. But yeah, this first launch especially really doesn't do a whole lot. And the first section as a whole, where you're just meandering around, yeah, it doesn't do it for me. It really doesn't. I do like that the audio plays throughout the ride, but at the same time I don't, because I wish it was just music. I like rides a lot more when the audio focuses more on the music than like narration. Like Big Bear Mountain does it perfectly. Some of the best onboard audio you'll ever find, because the song itself is playing throughout the ride. It's a great tune. It just fits the ride so well. You've got a few little jokes here and there, but it's nothing to distract you. Hagrid is like just goddamn chemistry class over here, just throwing facts at you. Like, I don't want to hear all this when I'm on a coaster. So, yeah, I wish it was more just music and not like narration, but it's whatever. You hit the second launch, and this one's a bit punchier, but still nothing too crazy. You'll kind of weave in and out of some turns, which don't really deliver much laterals, just kind of feeling the speed, which is really this ride's biggest strength, is the sense of speed, I think. Then you're going to pop into the first show scene, and I don't know what this thing is. I didn't know what I was looking at. It's like a Scrooge or something, I think it is. Yeah, it's some sort of fire scorpion creature. I don't know. It's a pretty limited animatronic, so is Hagrid, but yeah, it's cool, but I really wish it just didn't stop. I want it to keep going through, especially since I frankly don't care that he's showing off this creature. And then you're going to hit your third launch. This is one of the best ones. You're going to pop through this really nice looking arch and then hit what I thought could have been the best part of the ride, but it definitely underdelivered. It's these snaps. I thought this really could have been mini I-305 here, but it definitely was far from that. Felt more on par with what you can find on Sky Rush now, although honestly might be a bit better than the laterals you can find on Sky Rush now. But anyways, yeah, it's good. You can really feel the speed here, but at the same time, just it lacks the power. It lacks the bite. So that's really disappointing. You're going to hit another launch. This one doesn't deliver much power, but it does something. You're going to keep the speed going through a few airtimeless hills, and yeah, except for one moment, you're not going to find any airtime on this ride, which is pretty disappointing. But again, this ride I find is mostly about the speed and not the actual forces. So then you're going to slow down again, just to see Fluffy for a few seconds. I mean, he's cool and all, but the animatronic doesn't even have much movement. I feel like that could have been executed a bit better. You're going to turn, and then you're going to go through this swing launch. It's not really a swing launch because you just go forward, up a spike, and then back. But still, you're going up the spike. I was in the back, so maybe there was airtime in the front, but I don't know. And then you're going to go backwards. There's a little dip down before the spike, so I thought I could get some airtime in the back row going up that hump again, but yeah, didn't really get much. Then you're going to fly through the backward section. I mean, I say fly, but you're definitely not hauling through there. It's okay. It feels sort of like the first section, but backwards. But then you're going to pop into what's definitely the best part of the ride. It's this like final show scene, and it's like the big finale in Devil's Snare or whatever. And you're kind of crawling through there. It's definitely more of a dark ride scene in here, but it's really elaborate. And then, yeah, it's a drop track. So, I mean, I don't think that's much of a spoiler at this point. Because, yeah, I think pretty much everyone knows at this point that there's a drop track in there. And what's cool is there's actually two of them. So you can go on either the right side or the left side. And then there's a switch track to, like, bring you back onto the main ride course. So I really like that. That's sort of a nerdy aspect I like about that. And the drop track is really good. Gives some good airtime in there. So then after that, you're going to pull out, hit what's probably the second best launch on the ride behind the third, and then kind of go through a couple more twists and turns, and yeah, then hit your brakes. And those twists and turns don't really do much except like carry the speed. So yeah, I mean, overall, it's cool. I get and I don't get why some people say this is the best family coaster. I know if you really like the Harry Potter IP, the theming could be really cool for you. But at the same time, just coming from someone who doesn't really care about it, I way, way prefer something like Verbolten or Big Bear Mountain in terms of theming. Even if they're not quite as elaborate, I much prefer the original stories. Like, even if this was themed to, like, Spider-Man or something instead of Harry Potter, like, I'd probably still take Big Bear's theming over this. Because, yeah, just, I don't know, something about Big Bear is just really charming. Just trying to go catch Big Bear, and maybe you got him, maybe you didn't. And overall, that ride definitely has, like, a bit stronger forces than this, I'd argue. just overall, yeah, Big Bear's the better family coaster. Overall, Hagrid's, it is a good ride, but it just doesn't hit like everyone said it would. So for Hagrid's final score, I'm going to give it a 719 out of 1,000. I really wish I could give it a higher score, but I mean, it's definitely not close to my favorite family coaster. Oscar's Wacky Taxi is leaps and bounds ahead of the rest, but that's not a family coaster in my books. That's just almost RMC level ejector on that ride, so that doesn't really count. But aside from that, I definitely like Big Bear more, and to some extent even Verbolten, just because, like, yeah, Verbolten, I love the original story. It's, yeah, I don't want IP shoved down my throat, and I kind of explained that in my Universal review, but yeah, it's just too IP heavy, too much Harry Potter. And the ride itself definitely didn't pack in the forces I was hoping it would. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this down in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.